Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee. This is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, and Patreon. And you can find Dayspring Discussions on our Facebook group, Twitter account, and dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Well, happy Wednesday, guys. It is New Comic Day. I'm excited. I read a couple comics this morning. I'm not going to talk about all my recommendations because I haven't finished them, but there's one I want to talk about towards the end of the show, so we'll get to that. But first, we got a couple other things to go through, but before that even, I want to wish a very happy birthday to my little girl, Nora. She is turning 5 years old today. She's become a little Spitfire, my little Supergirl, my little Ray. Got her a couple presents we're going to give to her later. I think we got her like a Ray doll and a couple other Star Wars superhero things. She's kind of into that. But she's also into like dolls and My Little Ponies. A lot of mixture of both. But I think she will be excited for whatever we give her. She's super excited for her birthday. She's been talking about it for a week. So I just want to wish her a happy birthday. Love you, girl. Alright, guys. So like I said, it is Wednesday. Hope you're out there grabbing some comics. I'm going to talk about one particular later on. But speaking of comics, there is a new trailer for a superhero movie that came out yesterday. I'm going to start off with, and that is Ant-Man and The Wasp. That's right, Marvel Studios premiered the first trailer for the film, and the premise goes like this, quote, "In the aftermath of Captain America's Civil War, Scott Lang grapples with the consequences of his choices as both a superhero and a father. As he struggles to rebalance his life with his responsibilities as Ant-Man, he's confronted by Hope Van Dyne and Dr. Hank Pym with an urgent new mission. Scott must once again put on the suit and learn to fight alongside the Wasp as the team works together to uncover secrets from the past." The film will come out July 6, 2018, directed by Peyton Reed, who directed the first Ant-Man film, and it stars Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Pena, and Michael Douglas, all returning for the first film. And also in this one, we get Michelle Pfeiffer coming in as Hank Pym's former wife, Janet, and then we got Lawrence Fishburne coming in as Goliath, otherwise known as Bill Foster. Now, whether Lawrence Fishburne will actually put on a superhero suit, I don't know. He probably is just an old colleague of Hank's that helped him in his work, and I don't think we'll see him actually do anything in a suit, but you never know. It might happen. And as far as Michelle Pfeiffer, it looks like in the trailer they're looking for her, because we know from the first film her character went into the microverse that kept ever shrinking. And Scott did that at the end of the first film, and he came back from it. So I think Hank and his daughter are going to try to go search for her in the microverse, knowing that someone can still be there and can still come out from it. So we'll wait and see how that goes, guys. But given the fact that they actually casted an actress such as Michelle Pfeiffer for it, I think they're going to find her, and I think she's going to play a good role in the film. In any event, the trailer starts off with kind of rehashing the last thing Scott did, which was Captain America's Civil War. You got him talking to Wasp about asking if he would have asked her to come with him, fight alongside Captain. She would have, and she gives that snarky comment that even if I did, then you wouldn't have been caught. It said this film was supposed to be kind of like a romantic comedy. I think it's a good thing. You can kind of see the relationship that's going to develop between Scott and Hope. I found it kind of, shoehorned in at the end of the film. There was that scene where Hank opened the door and the two of them were kissing. Now, whether it was just kind of a one-kiss thing and that was it, or I forget if it was they said they were going to be in an actual relationship. I'd much rather see them just have one kiss and then they both kind of forget about it. And then this film picks up them maybe trying something out, growing together, maybe getting together. But it doesn't look like they're having much time because it looks like they're on the run. Just watching the trailer here, you have the shrinking building. And you're going to have a lot more, I think, of what we saw in the previous Ant-Man film, which is stuff getting big and getting small. You got the Hello Kitty Pez dispenser that gets big at the end there. You got Scott getting big. You got the Wasp shrinking down. You got the car shrinking down. All that stuff dealing with sizes, what we come to expect from an Ant-Man film. We're going to throw in some comedy as well. It just looks like an overall fun adventure. Now, you do have Ghost as the villain in this film, played by Hannah John Kamen. I think that's what her last name is. She's going to be in a lot of upcoming films. Ready Player One, Tomb Raider. I'm not familiar with her, but given the fact that I plan on seeing all those films, I think I will be familiar with her very soon. Walter Hoggins always does a good job. I don't know how big his role is. And then, of course, Michael Pena is returning. Can't wait to see what kind of speech he gives in this film like he did in the previous Ant-Man film. Should be a good time. It just looks like a good romp, good, almost like chase movie or something along those lines. Peyton Reed, I think, did a good job in the first film, so that which makes me more excited to see this one. And I'm hoping to get some good story arcs from Scott as far as, like the premise said, balancing his superhero life with his family life. I'm a father. He's got a daughter. I can relate to him in that way. So bring me some of that family side and that fatherly, good side. And I think I might be along for the ride. So, in any event, go check that out online. Let me know what you think, guys. All right, next up, Warner Brothers Television is planning on doing a live-action series that will debut on their upcoming DC Comics branded digital platform that is based in the city of Metropolis. Now, it's by Gotham executive producers John Stevens and Danny Cannon, who have already received 13-episode order for the digital platform coming up. The premise of the show is that it's set in Metropolis before Superman arrives in the big city, and the main two characters are going to follow Lois Lane and Lex Luthor, where Luthor is an investigative fringe scientist. It's going to explore the strange things that happen in Metropolis. Now, this is going to be another show that's going to be on the digital platform alongside Titans, Young Justice Outsiders, which is the third season of the Young Justice animated series, and the Warner Brothers animation Harley Quinn series they're planning on doing. This series is set to premiere in 2019, though the streaming service is supposed to come out this year at some point. So not only do we have a show coming up in March that is Superman-based called Krypton, not only did we have a show many years ago called Smallville, but now we have a show coming up called Metropolis. It's being run by the guys who pretty much did Gotham, and looks like very similar premises, which is the famous city before the superhero arrives. Gotham was about Gotham before Batman. This looks like it's going to be about Metropolis before Superman. And honestly, I'm not too keen on this idea. You know me, I'm a big Superman fan. I love me some Superman stuff, almost anything Superman. But I don't like Gotham. I don't like the premise of Gotham where you have all the Batman villains and no Batman. It's just not entertaining. There are several points where I've tried to watch the show and I just can't get into it. I think it's stupid. I'm not on board. Krypton, I think, actually has a little bit more interesting flavor to it. It's a sci-fi show set on Krypton. It's about the House of L. You probably have some Superman villains like Brainiac and Zod that are going to pop up. To me, that sounds a little more interesting. With this, Metropolis, you want to tell me about a young Lois Lane? I'll just watch Smallville. Erica Durant did a great job as young Lois Lane. I don't need that. Lex Luthor as a fringe scientist? I'll watch the show Fringe with Joshua Jackson. That was a pretty good show. I'll go back and watch that. I know that Warner Brothers is trying to get stuff for their streaming service, and I'm honestly excited for all their other stuff they're doing on their streaming service. Titans, Justice League, Harley Quinn. I'm not a big Harley Quinn fan, but those first two I'm really super excited for. And with this streaming service, it's going to be DC comic based. So if they're going to put in all their DC comic stuff, like the animated movies, the live action movies, the live action series, everything DC that they've done, they've got my money. I can find all my DC based programming right there of all the years. Like, give me like Batman the animated series, give me Lois and Clark the New Adventures of Superman, give me Young Justice, Teen Titans, give me the Flashpoint Paradox, give me everything that is DC animated or live action related. You've got my money, okay? This show will not make me want to subscribe. I'm on board, of course, because Young Justice alone, I want to subscribe to watch me Young Justice because I love the first two seasons of it. This show, from the guys who did Gotham, I'm not a fan of Gotham, and the premise sounds like a Superman version of Gotham. I'm sorry. Nope. You want something pre-Superman that is Superman related? Smallville. Go watch that. Watch the first 7 seasons. Thank me later, and then we can come chat about it online. But this, I'm not on board with this because honestly, I think it sounds boring. And that's coming from a Superman fan. I think it sounds boring. So check out online, see what you think for yourself, and then go from there. If you're excited about it, okay, great. If you're not excited about it, hit me up. Let me know why you think this is going to suck. Okay, last thing for today, guys. Now, like I said, I started reading some comics this morning, but I didn't get all the way through them. But there was one that I was just really impressed by that I wanted to talk about real quick because I don't know if I'm going to get to other comic reviews on Friday. I might. We'll see. But in any event, it was issue 5 of Phoenix Resurrection, The Return of Jean Grey. Now, given the fact that I'm a big X-Men fan, I've been reading this one. I was not on board with Jean Grey returning. Go back and look at previous podcasts. I'm just, we already had a Jean Grey. It was the young Jean Grey. I like the young X-Men in the mix. Now it looks like, based off the last issue of X-Men Blue and Phoenix Resurrection, they might actually be phasing out those young X-Men. We'll wait and see exactly what happens. So I've been following this one, and the premise of it is that Jean Grey is actually alive. And the Phoenix has got her in this cocoon out in the middle of the desert, living a fake life. She's a waitress, and she's dating a Scott Summers, and you've got a fake Wolverine. All these people that are basically dead in her life, such as her parents, her old childhood best friend, Scott, Wolverine, all of them that are dead. The Phoenix is encompassed Jean in this cocoon, wanting her to accept the Phoenix again and become powerful. The X-Men show up, they get inside the cocoon, and they're trying to basically wake Jean up. Old Man Logan goes to the diner, messes with her, makes her realize what's going on, and then you have this battle between Jean Grey and the Phoenix. But it's not an actual battle. In this issue, there is a really good conversation about Jean Grey and what the Phoenix has done to her and meant to her. They have this conversation about how the Phoenix infected Jean at a very young age, where she really hasn't lived her life, the life she was supposed to live. They've been codependent on each other for so long, and Jean Grey says, I'm not what you need, you're not what I need, you just need to go because I reject you. And then the Phoenix kind of vanishes. Whether that's the last we've seen of the Phoenix, I highly doubt it. But in any event, as of right now, it looks like Jean Grey is back. She's supposed to get her own team coming up. We'll see how the rest of the X-Men books deal with the return of the original Jean Grey. If you've been reading the Jean Grey solo series based on the young Jean Grey, come to find out that the young Jean Grey might actually be gone. I'm not 100% clear on that yet, but again, we'll see how this goes, and I'm sure they'll clear it all up in the next couple issues of X-Men books. The main thing I loved about this book was Cyclops' return. The original Cyclops, who died during the Inhumans vs. X-Men, or Death of X storyline, was brought back. And I'm pretty sure it was the actual Cyclops. Not 100% on that. But there was a great scene there between Cyclops and Jean Grey, basically talking or giving a brief summary of their relationship, how they've hurt each other, how both of them have suffered so much tragedy and them trying to be together, but how they still love each other so much. It's one of the most beautiful scenes I've read in comics in a long time. As an X-Men fan, as a Cyclops fan, it was just a great one. You can go on this Facebook group. I actually posted the panels on the Facebook group, and it's just a beautiful scene. As an X-Men fan, like I said, I loved it, and that's the main reason I recommend picking up this book. Very curious to see how they're going to continue from here, what they're going to do with Jean Grey. We'll have to wait and see, guys. But in any event, go check out Phoenix Resurrection issue 5, or the whole series, of course. You don't want to start with number 5, otherwise you might be a little lost. So go do that and come back at me and see what you thought. Well, that's it for me today, guys. I probably won't do a show tomorrow. I'll get one out on Friday, and whether I can get another show out this week, I don't know. Life happens. This is something I do in my spare time, and sometimes in a week I don't have enough spare time. But time to fire back on the social media group and the Gmail account, guys. Let me know. Are you excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp to come out? Are you interested in this Metropolis series that they're going to do on the DC digital platform? I'm not. I'm not a fan of Gotham. Are you a fan of Gotham? I want to know. Like, let me know. If you're a fan of Gotham, let me know how that's working out for you. Because every time I try to watch that show, I think it's stupid. But if you're a fan of it, let me know why you like it. And then, of course, the Phoenix Resurrection. Have you been following that storyline? Do you think it's going to go well? What do you think of Jean Grey coming back? Let me know your thoughts, guys. dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com, the Twitter account, and of course, the Facebook group. You can find me personally, Slim Dayspring12, on Instagram and Twitter. And that's it for me today, guys. I gotta get ready to go get to Chuck E. Cheese. Hooray. And I will see you guys later. Until then, may the force be with us all.